Hello and welcome to another An Old Man Tries, where I try a game from my catalogue of games that I own at random. As usual, this is blind. All I've done before this point is start the game, go into options, and make sure that music is turned off. Haven't looked at the other options at all, so cast abilities with no comment, game difficulty is normal, pan camera when selected, pause on combat start. I haven't changed any of this stuff as yet. That might happen in the future. Don't think I changed any of these keyboard controls, but I haven't played the game at all. Don't know much about it except that it's an RPG style thing. So let's try Masquerada, Songs and Shadows. Hoping that loading speed's going to improve, or we'll be here a while. Oh, there we go. Went from 15% to 100% very quickly.
We did it, Cyrus. We're in.
Save your relief, Amadea. We're not out of the flames yet.
Cyrus, we must keep moving. Bretha, secure the west wing.
Come. We must head to the Hall of Bearings. There are still some of us that are unarmed.
So use WASD or right click to move. Press E or left click on the floating icon to interact. Okay, so it just moves you to another area. So I'll probably mostly use right click to move, I would say. It wants me to do something, I'm guessing. But I don't know what. Or is that exclamation telling me where it wants me to go? Aha, yes, probably. So is it... So what do we got? We've got Ice Blade, so pick an ability, I guess. And then what? Ah. Okay. Then do I click on other people? Looks like it. As a tutorial goes, this is not very helpful. Right click on an enemy to attack it. Okay. Your opponents automatically acquire enemies in range. The red bar represents the companion's health. Use 1 for 4 skills and click confer to confirm cast. Some skills require a target or a target point. The yellow bar represents focus, which absorbs incoming melee damage. Yellow arc denotes the shielded area.
No! Stop them!
Okay, so it's paused. No, so I think it's left click to target him. Okay, and then space. Press spacebar to enter and exit tactical combat. While in tactical pause mode, you can issue commands. You can also pan a camera freely while in pause mode. Pressing spacebar will return to real combat in real time. So you can tell people what to do. Can I heal a friend? Maybe? No? Doesn't look like it. Okay. By right-clicking on, or by moving close and pressing E. Okay, so he is now healing.
Damn it! They've tunneled too far in. We can chase them.
Forget it. There are more than enough Mascherines here. Both of you take all you can and bring them to the troops.
I will tell Invidious. He should be done with...
Liz?
What? Cyrus, I'm not going anywhere. Not before that bastard is killed.
Neither am I.
Both of you listen. If we are to stand any chance at winning this, our men need these Mascherines.
So let Invidious take them.
And what if Portieri await him on the way back? Tell me you trust him, or anyone else, to defend against them.
Cyrus.
Honestly.
No.
Then go. And Amadea?
I can fight, Cyrus.
I know you can. Which is why you need to go with Lysandra and Invidious. They'll take care of you.
But...
No buts, Amadea. Now go, both of you.
I will be back with reinforcements. Don't you dare do anything foolish without me, Cyrus Gavar. Understand? Cyrus.
Yes. Now go.
The art style's pretty cool.
You don't mean that, do you, sir?
Oh, I mean it. But understanding and complying are two different things, Noel.
She's not going to be happy with you, sir.
The number of times I've heard that.
He wants us to go this way, apparently. I mean, I'm assuming that's why. That's what that is. It's an indicator to tell us where to go. Wow. Okay. Press tab or F1 to F3 to switch between companions. Okay.
What now, sir?
We aim for the heart. Avestus will be trying to escape. We cannot let that happen, and we cannot afford to wait for Lysandra's return. He will be long gone by then. We must do it ourselves.
That sounds dangerous, sir.
Null, we have broken into the heart of the White Spire. There are few lines of danger we have left to cross.
Well, sir, if this is how it has to be, then let us do it.
Thank you, Null, and your men as well. Umber will remember this when they fashion the laws of freedom.
But not you, sir.
Come on. We have a man to kill.
Shouldn't want me to go this way now. Light spire, upper hallway.
Cyrus, it doesn't have to end this way.
I am truly sorry.
Go, sir. We've got you covered.
Okay, so it's not actually me doing that, it's just doing that by itself. No, okay, the element type of tag denotes determined effect. Use cold scream wash to apply water tag on enemies. Okay. Use signature to activate a water tag to deal a burst of damage. So it's showing you your special abilities now. Fair enough.
What? Where is Avestus?
Safe. The corridors of the registry are twisted. You know that.
Just like its leader.
You don't mean that.
Yes, I do. And you know it. Just because you have that cape on your shoulder doesn't mean that you are blind to the injustices of this broken city.
Cyrus, please.
You know its insides are corrupt, its ways foul.
And even if I did, what then? We are but single entities, Cyrus. How much can one person hope to achieve?
Nothing by themselves, but with people who believe in them, who believe with them.
I'm sorry.
Lucia, please.
You have already cost the city too much. This must end.
This would appear to be a cutscene.
I am so sorry, my friend. Have you any last words?
The city needs to change, Lucia.
Goodbye, Cyrus Gavar.
Oh, we're dead. Game over. I guess. I mean, obviously not, but who knows what's going on. Glowy thing. Okay, so that's just how to play the game, I guess, and now I can start one. Looking for gameplay experience is neither too hard or too easy. Story mode is easy to consume for players new to the genre, just waiting to play for the story. Enemies have less and longer cooldowns. That's me. I'm here for the story, not to actually be good at the game. And then there's hard for people who, are here for the game. Story mode.
Ships. Nowhere else in a midnight build are there so many damn ships. Is it true though? You say a moment you lay eyes on that city, a demon possesses you. It's where all magic comes from, they say. Hey.
They also say the pipe will kill you. Yet, here we are.
Yeah. A whole trip I tried not to, Cicero. But you made a promise. Going back here ain't gonna do you no good.
And I made a promise to my parents, too. To feed them. Give them a better life. I need the money, Varl.
Yeah. And the question is, are you willing to pay with your soul for it?
I suppose we'll find out.
Into the shadows we go. Breathe it in, Cicero. The smell of a bad decision.
Ah, smells like runic spices to me. And sewage.
You joke about it now.
Relax, Varl. I'll see you in a 5-day. I promise.
A promise. If you break it, I swear to our 7 sisters that I'll come down to the pits myself to wrangle your skinny neck.
I'll see you when I see you, Captain. Fits or not.
Right, so, got some logs. So, Ombre, the jewel of the Midnight Belt, claimed by all nations' wealth and exotic magic. This is a place I've called home, the country that banished me in exile. Now I've returned to find a little change. It's bustling and alive, and it still rests in shadows. Whether I'm stepping back in the walls facing open arms or hidden knives, only time will tell. And then there's a whole bunch of gameplay ones, apparently, which we've already done. I assume they're from the tutorial. Okay. That doesn't go anywhere, so this way.
Sir.
Sir,
Relax. You are the coach hands I was told to expect?
that's us. Elena Toth, sir.
Ricardo Toth, at your service.
The coach is nearby?
Just a minute this way, sir.
Okay, so we learned about somebody new. First citizens greet me are the coach hands. They're clearly Contadani. No coach hands registry would have Mascherines wasted upon them, or Mascherines. I kind of wonder what they see when they see me. After all, I'm the brother man who fought for their rights, the man that I abandoned 5 years ago. I suppose time will tell me more of their opinions and whether the ripples of my actions have touched them. But for now, it seems as though they have no issue with my role in the events of history. Or they're just being nice to us. So there's a whole bunch of character notes to learn. Ah, and there's the other one. Val and the Emerita. So he's obviously a minor character. But there's, there's stuff about him if you want to learn it.
Flashy. I expected the registry to be spending more on dealing with the war than prettying up the carriages.
Oh, actually, sir,
Don't get me wrong, I love the finish, but...
Sir, it's this one.
What? Well, the less attention we draw, the better for us, anyway. Come on, let's see if this butte can get us through the... ages.
Bad guys.
Presence out, all of you. Make no trouble for us, you'll have none yourselves.
Sir, do it.
That's it, boys. Stop by again, Elon. It was a pleasure.
They're getting bolder by the day.
I would have liked to have seen how bold they felt if they knew he was an Inspectore. I bet they would have thought...
Ricardo!
Hear that, boys? An Inspectore.
Oh, good. We are going to find
No
them.
trouble.
Words spoken behind a blade. The Inspectore will fetch us some. We don't need the other two. Truly a pleasure. Here they come!
Well, I'm glad to see we're not just like giving up like he was going to do. That's something, I guess. I can't see what that zero ability is, so I guess I'll just pick a target. I hope you at least got your money back, dude.
So, Ricardo, you watched me fight.
He more than watched, sir. He was practically gawking.
Sister.
Relax. All I wanted to know is why you seem so surprised.
Well, 7 Inspectores and none would stoop to a level to have Contadani like us present to watch them train.
Doesn't mean you can't steal a glance from the West Wing. The upper levels provide quite the view.
If you don't mind me saying, sir, you're awfully comfortable around us.
What do you mean?
People like us, I mean, Contadani, maskless.
You mean people who have lives and dreams and all? I think I'd be more worrying if I was uncomfortable, no? Oh, it's been so long since I've heard that.
I heard what?
Slow down, please. That.
The waterfall.
The Pale Isle. For a city this dark to have a heart so bright. Let's go. This is new.
Extra security measures, sir, since the war began.
Business?
Transport.
And who are you transport? I see.
Problem, Elencio?
Carry on.
So obviously we're a bit of a bigwig in some way.
Well, that wasn't very polite.
You don't expect them to treat war criminals with politeness, do you?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to...
No. Stop the coach, please. I think I'd like a little time to myself, if you don't mind. I'll make my way up to the White Spire when I'm done.
Of course, sir. We'll be at the stables if you need to find us.
Contadani. Press L to view. Masquerada might be the jewels of Ombre, but it's the Contadani that are its lifeblood. A large number of the Contadani are found outside the city, in the lands known as the Echoing Plains. Plains are still within the national borders of Ombre, or Omba, probably, and settlements in the plains that are collectively known as the Randagia, or Randagia, house a great many of the city's Contadani. Life in the Randagia is relatively simple compared to that in the city, farming and raising cattle. Within the city itself, a great many Contadani have taken up residence. The present city makes no sense, is dangerous, one filled with death and poverty. Why does it attract the lower class? Most of Omba's scholars believe that once enough individuals come together to form a sufficient large society, that society begins to behave in ways that are independent of, perhaps even detrimental to, the interests of its members. In a way, the city develops a mind, a will of its own, to survive and to keep ploughing on. So they say asking why the Contadani continue to live in the city is problematic because it assumes that the individual size of each Contadani will somehow be reflected in the larger movements of the city, when that is not nearly the case. The cyclical rhetoric that this has been given is that the Contadani remain in the city because they're part of it, and despite their individual desires, they have no power as a collective to change that. To a certain degree, I believe in the theory, but I fear all too well it must acquire a reason for growing existence of our underprivileged lower class, the potential of fulfillment. Many Contadani glamorise lives of the Masquerada, and I cannot blame them for doing so. We bend the elements of the world to our will. We live in lavish houses and beautiful vistas. We don't ever need to worry about finding food for the next meal. This lifestyle has a strong lure, you think, especially those with empty stomachs and vacant purses, and brought a great number of Contadani to the city. There's many women who harbored the hopes that by placing themselves in the direct vicinity of the Masquerada, they will one day be able to join their ranks. That hope is not a futile one. I myself made the transition, though it is not one that often gets fulfilled. So basically, there's some very strict social class distinctions going on here.
Hey, aren't you forgetting something, scum? Oi, I'm talking to... Of all the souls, I never thought I'd get to see you again.
What do you want?
What do I want? I want you to have a taste of what we went through because of you. Oh, the mouse has teeth. Let's see how well he bites. Hold your ground!
Well, I don't have any option but to just attack him, so I guess that's what I'll do.
Wake up.
Seems like we're just going to lose, because he's got infinite hit points. Yep.
The man who lives like a coward deserves to suffer like one. Valencio, Sir, I swear... I didn't...
Attention. We are in the middle of a war, Silencio. Do you understand that?
I didn't...
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Your masquerine is to be used against the mask runners of the city, not against its citizens, exiled or not. You have demonstrated a sore lack of understanding with regards to the utilization of masquerines. You will unbind from your masquerine and have the privilege of its company revoked for a period of 10 days. Keep me waiting any longer and it'll be 30. Go. You lucky bastard. If I hadn't been out for a drink...
At this time, someone's picked up some habits.
Why are you here, Cicero? A man with your reputation must be either mad or desperate to return to the city.
Here, read it.
Summoned back to Umber at the request of the Veron, your exile will be revoked and you will be granted a grand sum of... So what? You're back for the money?
Mad or desperate.
And do you know for what reason you've been called back?
If you can decipher anything from this cryptic mess, please.
You need to see a Vestus.
Accompany me? I think it'd be a good time to hear what's been going on.
You mean it'd be good to have a bodyguard?
I was trying to be nice.
Come on. He's in the White Spire.
Right, so binding. First step that any Masquerada needs to take before being able to use a Masquerine is a process called binding. Imagining a connection between the Masquerada to be and the Masquerine, and it is done. Should a Masquerine perish while bonded to a Masquerine, the Masquerine itself fades away into a fine dust, which I guess is what we saw at the beginning. And then characters. Tristan, we've already met. The Tove twins. Krista is a better pick on stalwart duty than Tristan. I've yet to find it. The current Valencia of the city and I have quite the history together. We've both been portieri at the same time and have served in the same section when we were but Alencios, just starting out on our careers. He joined the forces because of his family's legacy. Despite blah blah blah. Tristan admits freely he feels no emotional connection to the story of his great forebear, but his father wanted him to be part of the portieri, his father before him, and so on and so forth. So yeah, he did it because his dad wanted him to. Okay, more. Leading the ranks of the Portieri is the Valencio, in charge of the training and regimentation of the Portieri. The Valencio is not a figure to be trifled with. So, yeah. They're tough guys, basically. Senior officers.
I want it! We don't care. You're at least a week away from another rotation. I'm the best firebrand here, and you know it.
Get lost, Travis. You know there's no way you're going to get it.
Were they arguing over a masquerine? Aren't there enough to go around?
The war. Ever since your brother gave out all those masquerines to the mask runners, the death toll on both sides has been great.
And you've been losing masquerines.
So long as they sit upon a dying face, to the dust they go. And now, the city is running out of them. Everyone's feeling it. The guilds, the mask runners, the registry. The Vegelus even suspect that in the next 50 years or so, there'll be fewer than 100 masquerines left.
But there were thousands before. Surely 5 years.
5 years have crippled this country, Cicero. I am sorry. That did not come out as smoothly as I had intended.
You're tired. I understand.
You would, wouldn't you? Well, let's not keep Avestus waiting.
Actually, let's, because, you know, there's a thing to click on over there. But yes, Mascherines. If there's one thing that's defined Ombre, it would not be the Masquerada or its artistic landscape, it would be the Mascherines. Master magic that grant their wares their ability to harness the elements, distinguish any element that separates the country from the rest of the world. When the first came to the land of Ombre, the Mascherines were already there. In the early ages of history, they were feared. The effects of wearing them were not completely understood. Neither was the act of using them. They were regarded with apprehension. Blah, blah, blah. The power the Mascherines hold has been ever more valued in recent years, especially considering their disappearing nature. Mascherines inexplicably vanish should they be worn upon the face of a dying being. Again, the reasons behind this death rattle are just as shrouded in mystery as the origins of the Mascherines themselves, but the artifacts are quickly disappearing commodity. Yes.
Would you look at that?
Huh. Elysian stones. Would have expected the war to curb trade a little.
It did. For about 3 months, until the countries across the belt realized how much they missed our work.
And so they decide to send their traders to a country steeped in civil war.
It isn't that bad. The bloodiest sons have all set. We're just cleaning up what's left of it. In fact, I think in a few years it'll be completely over.
Let's keep going.
So that was another piece of information. Elysia is the land of the greatest philosophers. First country from across the belt to trade with Ombre. It was Elysia's influence over the early settlers of Ombre that nourished the sect within the registry known as the Vegelus, the scholars of the city. Elysians pride themselves on their philosophical pursuits. That seems to have distanced them from the avarice that Ombre tends to inspire. Whatever the case, the city is and will continue to be welcoming of the Elysians' interest in the city. For Elysia is the one country that provides Ombre with blood poppy, a flower that yields a brilliant crimson dye with riches found nowhere else. Lots of lore, basically. If that's your kind of thing, you will probably enjoy yourself. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, you've seen things like Skyrim and how much they have in them. It is a lot of people's thing. Something over here. The White Spire. Just information. Symbol of the pinnacle of the registry of authorities, the embodiment of the role of guardian and caretaker of Omber. Built upon the ancient ruins of some long-forgotten tower, the White Spire was constructed in a matter of days, record time with the help of Earthbrands. The construction of the spires served not only to establish a quickly based operation for the registry, but to remind the citizens that it governed, that it had the capability and power, and was willing to use it to perform such a feat. Okay, fair enough. The areas are quite small, I've noticed, like the maps. More on the registry. Once we had been called heretics, were cast out from our lands, deracinated, labelled traitors and blasphemers. With the other, the alien, the outcast. Yet we were individuals. We were of many, but were of no banner. We had mirror voices, but no clarion to lead us. We are united now. We are a people. Vast majority of Omber takes the registry, the country's government, for granted, and I'm not saying that simply because I am, or at least was, a member of it. The registry's duties in the city aren't all-encompassing, which led to proliferation of opinion are responsible for little. This, however, is inaccurate. The modern Ombrian simply does not see the waves that the registry makes. Main responsibility of the registry is handling international affairs. It's easy to forget living in the city that there exists an entire world out there. Omber, with its military power and flourishing cultural and economic landscapes, is land upon which many other countries gaze. These gazes are often awesome in nature, but it's easy for admiration to turn into lust. The registries can cut in a great many ways, handling in any international relations that begin to sour, most of which is too long to go into detail, and these measures allow the tiny country to survive. Yeah, on the back of a hideous class system.
Any idea why the old man wants to see me?
Not a very solid one. One of the Regenti has gone missing. And these walls should not be privy to this conversation.
This is familiar.
Here we are.
Tell me he's changed, at least a little.
Have fun finding out.
We're obviously looking forward to this.
In all the 20 years that I have spent perched upon the spire, not once have I seen my city so broken.
Tristan was telling me the war's almost over.
Over? When does a war end? When the trumpets of peace sound? When the mask runners are dead in the gutter? No. It ends when it ceases to echo through every street, or shadow every face. It is over when the halls that it has emptied fill once again. This war is far from over. I trust the past 5 years have treated you well?
They've been kind.
Kind? Is that what you call those years you spent throwing all your coin at barkeeps, fleeing the grip of sobriety?
How?
The Cavalli Fields may be located across the belt, but it's still within the registry's vigil.
And so is plagued by your rats. Why am I here?
The answer is all around you. You've been to the docks. You've walked through the grounds. How many portieri enjoy the company of Mascherines?
Tristan told me. The city's losing too many of them.
We must learn the secrets of the Mascherines. Learn how to stop them from disintegrating upon their wearer's death.
This is a job better suited for the Vegelus.
Widen your mind, Cicero. You think I called you here to bury your nose in dusty tomes? You are not the first that I've spoken to of these matters. A regenti of mine was tasked 3 months ago to explore the annals we have on Mascherines. You are here to find him.
How long's he been missing?
He missed sending in his last report due 20 days ago.
And you've sent no one else?
Ophina and Corvus were sent to investigate.
What did they find?
That their songs were shorter than they expected.
Both of them?
Ophina was found hanging in her room, hands tied, wrists slit. Corvus's body was Not so fortunate. Whoever it was had resources. Wit, knowledge, finesse. It's a pity the two before you managed to find nothing apart from their own deaths.
So you called me back to feed me to the dogs?
No, I called you back to find my Regenti. If the canines come at you while you're at it, well...
You're a fool if you think I'll do this.
I'll think much more than that if you turn away. Especially if you read the case notes. You might find the name of my Regenti interesting.
Razatov.
You two were acquainted, were you not?
Anything else?
Only that you are to breathe no word whatsoever to anyone else regarding this case. Everything else you need is in those notes. Arm yourself in the Hall of Bearings. Then see what you can find. His office in the East Wing is probably a good place to start. That is all.
I like that the, I don't know if you could see it on screen, but the folder he threw down was titled Really Important Stuff. So there was... few as calculative as Vestus. Certainly I do not look to him to learn anything regarding matters of ethics or of the heart. When it comes to being efficient and objective, I consider him a master. So he's extremely practical and logical. Veron of Ombre is perhaps the most famous and not respected figure in the nation. As the leader of registry with them both sitting at the tip of the White Tower, the entire city falls under their gaze. So he's the top dog, basically. But we already knew that. And now we have a journal. Missing persons investigation. Name of subject, Razatov Azarus, 39. On the 39th of Ravida, Regenti Razatov Azarus was tasked with elucidating the methods through which Mascherines were created. On the 43rd, he submitted his first update. He writes that he believed that for something as core to the Dimenticate civilization as Mascherines, there must be anthropological evidence regarding their existence and creation that can be found through detailed study of Dementicate history. He continues on writing that a visit to the Kozensenska must be paid. He's sure to find what he needs there. Loose sheet found within this report reveals that specifically was in search for books that talk about the Dementicate and power, about wielding immense power, creating power using expand or anything that even remotely smacks of strength or supremacy. These are good places to start. I will head to the Kozensenska tomorrow. Data update 30th. Kerry has said that Razatov never approached her. None of the vigilists that I've spoken have seen him. He must have either gone to his work in secrecy or never followed up on his original plan. Tomorrow, I intend to return to the Kozensenska following his lead to bringing close to his current whereabouts, I'm certain. Investigation has been handed over to Corvus. So this is Athena, the second one, obviously. As Athena's been found dead. Investigation taking a darker turn, Aegis of Beard is growing steadily. Augustus has told me to focus on Razatov and to do so quietly. Whatever did that to Athena is still out there. Don't know how well I'll sleep at night knowing these halls are not safe, but the Veron has reminded me that if someone's out to stop us from finding Razatov, it must mean that he knows something. Avestus believes that finding the Regenti is of higher priority than identifying Athena's murder. If I can about both along the way, that'd be ideal, but I'll be the first to admit that I might have been putting waters too deep for me. I've spoken to Lucia and warned her about the treachery. If Athena was a target, then none of us are safe. Darius, Passion and Reaver aren't in the city at the moment for their sakes, I'm glad. Where is Cicero when you need him? No matter, I must focus. Tomorrow I'll check Razatov's office. I think it's a prudent place to begin. At least it isn't in my poor friend's bloody footprints. I hope she gets a good song. Nothing. He's obviously cleared out his living quarters. He'd hold himself up there for quite some time. Something didn't feel quite right while I was in there. In fact, something hasn't felt quite right since I started this investigation. I cannot deny feeling so strong. Can't put my finger on it, but I swear by the ages I'm being watched. Tomorrow I plan to figure out what's actually been causing the hair on my neck to rise. Once I do all that, I believe I'll be able to focus on the task at hand. The remains of his body have been found in his personal residence. We've been summoned. It's been handed over to us. Great.
Survived the trial, I see.
Barely. The bastard's still as oily as ever.
Careful. Walls have ears. So, was I right?
This is about the Regenti that's gone missing. Razatov.
That's the one? Didn't he...
Saved my life, yes. Hephaestus used that against me.
So now you're on the case too.
Any advice then?
Just try not to die. We've lost enough inspectores as is.
You can bet on that. Now, I need to read these notes first. Then to the Hall of Bearings for a masquerine. Still have time to accompany an old friend?
Why not?
So, Razatov. Never in my wildest imaginations had I thought my relationship with this bespectacled friend of mine would turn out the way it did. Razatov was a lover of histories and theorems. I initially could not stand his presence. Facts and postulations seemed to bleed forth from every inch of his body. He'd seen me struggling with the calculus section of paper I'd been working on, and he could barely keep it himself. You need to use Raderick's theorem for that. That's a very long thing. Okay, so the first time we met him was when he basically voluntarily tutored us in maths, and we were a bit of a jerk about it.
My brother is missing. At least let me speak to the Valencio.
Your color isn't welcome here.
A member of the Blue Guild. Here.
A curious sight indeed. You can take care of yourself?
I'm not a child, Tristan.
Really?
Get out.
The Sixth Guild of Umber are collectively known as the Samora, and they comprise the Sorel de Mer, which is something to do with the sea, the Lucre Infinita, the Laboris Solis, the Altus Nobilis, the Diesiv Sovrani, and the Catiatori. The Samora are rife with disagreement, so the guilds don't get on, basically. Can I talk to this guy? Nope. So the Hall of Bearings. So it's where the Mascherines are kept. It's pretty much all you need to know.
Inspectore.
At ease.
I was not told to expect you, sir.
I don't suppose you were. But here I am. And I need a masquerine.
Right this way, sir. I do apologize in advance. Our selection of masquerines has diminished since the war began.
It's all right. I'm not picky.
I am.
Beautiful, isn't it?
I'd like a masquerine now, please.
All right. First things first. Your element, sir.
Cyrus? What are you doing?
Sir?
What? I apologize. What was the question?
Your element.
Right. Of course.
Okay. So, fire. We have the gifts to burn and smelt to set aflame parts of his glory. To shake the souls, to raise the earth, to feed our strength and fashion temples. The seas will roar, the crowds will cry out, not for broken rock to pay obeisance. The air will carry our tale through the winds of the houses. I mean, I assume it's... You know, it will change the types of abilities that you get. I think I'm going to go Earth. Why not? The ubiquity of stone and soil lends a favour to the friend's abilities by allowing to mould the landscape on which conflict is set. Through the creation of hazardous areas, the friends are around the flow of any battle. An airbrand in the midst of battle is unpredictable. They're constantly in motion, armed with abilities that cripple and displace those in attempt. Firebrands. Draw strength from Maelstrom of Chaos. Versatile abilities suited for any... I like versatile, so we'll go with water like our brother. Yes.
I'm a water brand.
And the last time you used a masquerine?
5 years.
Vamus tests?
Distinctions.
Accreditor?
60th percentile. Explains why I didn't turn out to be one of the Vegelers.
All right, sir. It'll take me no more than a heartbeat.
We need the Masquerine, Cicero. You're its custodian, and you're an imposter. Going around with that stupid cape of yours? Have you forgotten where your loyalty lies?
Are you almost done, Valis?
Just finished, sir.
You don't know what you've started, brother. Change. That's what. Change for the Contadani, our people.
Here it is, sir.
Come with me. Come with me, Cicero. No.
Sir?
Thank you, Valis.
So, we can do absolute zero, chilling wave that freezes nearby enemies, stunning them for 4 seconds, placing a water tag on them. And we have water blade. So water blade has an 8-second cooldown with no cost. Absolute zero has 120 cost with no cooldown, because it's, I guess, limited by other factors. Is there anything in here that wasn't? There's some gameplay stuff. I'll just click on all of those to get rid of them. Okay, it must have been in the J menu then. No, I thought I saw 2. Okay, so another one. So some stuff about the Tesoro. God, it's long. I won't read it all out. Ah, skills. That's what the other one that floated up was. Okay, so we've got skills, we've got costs. I don't know if we've got any points to spend. Water blade, taunt, invigorate. When a water tag is activated, recovers 20% of his maximum focus and mass charge. Well, that seems useful. Passive skill. Improve your regeneration. I don't know if I have points. Do I have? Oh yes, I've got 4. There you go. Atmos rings, spheres of raising their threat. I suppose is 5% of their health. So useful if you're standing near friends. Trail of water. An ice shackle pulls the target enemy in. Conjures ice spikes. Summons a spout bound to fight for the caster and taunts nearby enemies for 20 seconds. Water blade, taunt. Seems useful. Increases strike range. I like the spout hound. Movement and attack. Or maximum health. I think that's doubling its health, isn't it? We'll do that. So this has a 25-second cooldown, costs 45. And it lasts 20 seconds. Okay. Yeah, I've done that already. Okay, now it's going to tell us about it. Okay, don't have any other party members right now, so nothing else to do here. I think we're about to get one.
And there he is.
Who's this?
Calden Azarus, mariner of the Sorelle del Mare.
You're Calden?
You know him?
Yes. No, well, Razatov mentioned that he had a brother before, but he never said very much.
You knew my brother?
Is there a reason why he's here?
I know my brother's missing. Inspector Corvus came to me 2 weeks ago.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
It's not that, Inspectore. I want to help find my brother in any way I can.
You don't know what you're getting yourself into. You haven't heard anything from Corvus because he's dead.
What?
Listen, Calden. Sail the winds back to your guild while you can. You don't want this.
Bet he does.
Why?
Because this is not the business of the Blue Guild. And if any within the White Spires see you with me...
All right, then. I suppose all I can ask is that when you find him, please, I'd like to know.
You're just going to let him go?
What?
It's his brother, Cicero.
Mariner! I'd like to at least ask you a few questions first.
Of course.
Oh, this'll rub the old man the wrong way.
All the more reason to do it. Now that both of you are settled, I have business to attend to.
Thank you, Valencio.
Have fun, you two.
Inspectore, I must...
A few questions does not guarantee you a place in this investigation, Mariner. I'd like to make that clear.
Clear as the belt, sir.
Good. Now, we're headed for your brother's office. I'd like to ask you a few things on the way.
Okay. So, as you progress, bringing C to bring up the characters and upgrade them. I mean, I know that they're totally saying he's not going to be a companion, but he's totally a companion, right? If I don't believe I know so little about this man, considering my friendship with his brother, perhaps I was too hasty attempting to dismiss him. Yeah, well, I mean, you have not made one single right decision so far, so yeah, you were. Okay, so he's got 4 skill points remaining. He has water spout, so he blasts people with his water spout. Defensive skill. I'm assuming this is also water, basically. Tidal wall, Sorelle's ward. Gains an aura that gives him 10% damage reduction and absorbs 20% of the damage taken by allies within 5 meters for 10 seconds. That's not bad. So it's types of water, but it's different to mine. There's 2 spheres of water. Okay, so he's got the healing one. Water spout as an attack. Yeah, let's learn that one. Increases damage reduction and reduces skill cooldown. Increases aura and nearby gain 10% damage reduction. We'll do that one. For upgrades also, no, these upgrades are 2 points each. So water spout we can either do get 20 mask charge or skill cooldown. 20 mask charge. Why not?
So, fill me in. When was the last time you saw your brother?
Well,
Memory failing you already?
half a Missouri ago.
2 years. My. And the last time you wrote him a letter, then?
We don't write to each other.
No? This is it. His office.
Finally.
Just a moment, Mariner.
Something the matter, Inspectore?
Yes, in fact. You.
Me?
You, Razatov's brother, whom I have heard so little from him about, who last saw him 2 years ago, and during those years you never spoke or wrote to him whatsoever. And now you're suddenly concerned.
Correct.
And you ask if there's something the matter.
Inspectore, the relationship I have with my brother is complicated, but he is still my brother. And if you doubt my concern for him...
I doubt your honesty. Are you certain you know as little about the cases you claim?
Yes. I assure you, on a mariner's moon, I promise, there is nothing I want more than to find my brother.
Let's go in. Here, let's see what we can find.
Okay, so the case notes are updated. The brother has been inserted into picture and is hiding something. I wonder what. Perhaps keeping him around wasn't such a bad idea after all. Also, he will help in fights.
My brother slept here?
He was the hardest working of all the Regenti. Couldn't quite draw the line between a personal life and a professional one.
He never did have any desire to start a family.
Despite my efforts.
So, and there was a thing that popped up in the law section. Another piece of information about factions. So, world of academia belongs to the Vegelus, but the realm of politics is the domain of the Regenti. These are the members of the registry who keep the country in balance, both within and without the walls of the city. They're responsible for reading the economies and controlling as much as possible the ebb and flow of power within the city. Certainly closer to the Varone's heart compared to the Portieri and the Vegelus, and are the first he turns to when he requires handling of sensitive matters. If these matters are termed too sensitive even for the Regenti, they hand it off to the Inspectore.
This is his work?
All the cases that he's had to work with before. He likes keeping them in the open. Watch his collection grow.
He's got to be off.
This case is large and relatively recent. It's about...
You shouldn't...
Cicero Gavar.
And this investigation is not.
You never mentioned how you knew my brother.
Who are you here for?
I didn't mean to upset you.
Just keep looking.
I don't see anything out of the ordinary, Inspectore. Are you certain that there's something to be found here?
No, I'm not.
But yet you're searching through... coal?
Do you think I'll find anything?
I don't think of a bed of coal when I'm looking for a place to hide things.
Exactly.
What's that?
A secret door.
If you could, Mariner. When you're ready.
Tides? What is that?
They certainly don't look like they're born of the earth.
My brother was keeping Fae. What are you doing?
Those creatures reacted to something.
You think they've got a thing for coals?
I think they've got a thing for this.
What is it?
Well, hopefully someone can tell us. Put the dresser back in place, please. We should...
They're going to crash out and attack us, aren't they? Yep.
Wonderful. Watch your flanks.
Right, so I don't see any reason not to start by summoning my beastie. It seems like a sensible thing to do at the start of any fight. As a maestro, Cicero can switch between class stances at will. Stances grant various passive effects based on each class archetype. Pressing Z during combat switches his stance. So I've got Sicario, Passivere, and Dirge. Sicarios move quicker and deal bonus damage when flanking. High threat and suffer less damage. Ranged auto attack and regenerate focus rapidly. Could we try actually attacking somebody? Thanks.
I can see you can handle yourself in battle.
I am trained as a pervisiere. My physique didn't really cater for the other Medea.
I can imagine. Hold on.
Found something?
Perhaps it was a good thing those Fae attacked us. That mark that you see over there. The mark of Timerius Candle, a glassmith who works in one of the registry's wards. The Quiet Order.
Our next lead?
Let's go.
Okay, so, never before have I seen a Fae made of paper. Baffles me where they came. Certainly rather have something to do with this, perhaps we'll learn more as we progress. And then Fae in general. Fae of Ombre have been around since before the city was constructed. In the Silent Ages, before the first colonised the land, they were creatures made of stone and wood, which didn't bleed when cut, which didn't age or grow. They've persisted through the epochs, continuing to vex the citizens of the city. No one knows where they come from or how they've sustained their presence. They do not need seem to eat or breathe, and there have been no sighting of juvenile Fae. Whenever they're found, they're showing signs of adapting to their surroundings. Where they're found in caverns, they're often made of stone. Where they're found in forests, they're made of bark and branch. They're territorial and wary enough of humans, they mostly confine themselves to the Dimenticate ruins, where they're most commonly found. Adventurers who are exploring the depths of ruins, however, must be cautious. The Fae are known to be hostile towards any who infringe on their territories. So, a couple of things for us to look into. So we found a E, not L. We found our first big clue, and we must now be off to talk to somebody. I think I'll call it there for today. Oh, goodness. More information about him. He's a proficient healer, I'll say that much. He knows how to handle himself well in battle. Not often found, a trait not often found within his order. Perhaps the bond between my lanky friend and his large belly brother is in as straightforward as it seems. He seems a little too curious about the history I share with his brother. The longer I travel with him, the more I believe there's something he's hiding. Case notes. Number 3. Further investigations, the Office of Lead had surprising results. He was hiding a Fae behind a dresser, which seemed to react violently to a peculiar black stone found in a container of coal. Hope to be able to identify this stone soon. It will certainly inform the investigation. Also, the glass bells that they were kept in have a craftsman's mark upon them. They were made by the hand of Timerius Candle, a glassmith who works in one of the registry's wards. I intend paying a visit. Perhaps he can tell us more about what my friend was up to. So we will call it there. Return to main menu. I assume that... Yep, there's a continue option, which is good, because otherwise we would have a bit of an issue. I'm going to call it there for the day. It's interesting. I'll probably keep playing. I don't know if I'll continue recording. Haven't decided yet. If you see more videos, then the answer is yes. Otherwise, the answer is no, and you'll see me try something else in the future. In any case, thanks for watching this. Hope you enjoyed it, and catch you next time in whatever it is that I'm doing.